Uh, Once again, welcome to my YouTube channel, Maths with Ease by Mr. Kamotho. And in this video, I want us to explain example 3 of sets 3. And we are told that a mathematics teacher sets 2 tests for 50 students. 40 students pass the first test, 38 students pass the second test, and 30 students pass both tests. Find the probability that a student selected at random pass both tests. First of all, let us understand a few things. There is general information that the total number of students is 50. There are those who passed test 1. There were how many? They were 40. Those who passed test 2, they were 38. And this is the information that we have to put in the Venn diagram. So we have the Venn diagram that is like this. Of course, we have the first test and we have the second test. So, now in this case, we have the first test and we have the second test. And we said that if you want to fill the details in a Venn diagram, we must start from the intersection. We must start from the intersection. And what does intersection say? That 30 students pass both tests. We should have put here both tests. How many students passed both tests? 30 students. Start from the intersection, and we are going to have 30. You're going to have 30 there. And then when we visit now the statement, we can see those who passed test 1, they were 40. And this circle represents everybody who passed test 1. They were 40. And already within the 40, we have 30. So those who passed first test without passing the second test were 10. Because the whole circle of the first test should be having 40. And those who passed the second test are actually 38. But within the 38, 30 are already in place. So 8 are the students who passed the second test without passing the first test. And because we are told that we have a total of 50 students, these are 10 plus 30, 48. And you can clearly see that 2 students did not pass any test. And that's where they are. So let us now respond to the question. A student is chosen at random. Find the probability that he passed both tests. Passing both tests, you must be in the intersection. So we are talking about the probability of first test, intersection, second test. And this is part A of the question. And within the intersection, we can only find 30 students out of the possible 50 student, which is 3 out of 5, which can also be written in decimal form, 0.6. And that is the response to part A of the question. Part B of the question is asking us, find the probability that when a student selected at random passed the second test, given that the student passed the first test. The student passed the second test, given that he passed. The probability of the student passed the second test, given that he passed the first test. This is how we write given that. Now, we must realize that The condition here is that the students we are looking for must have passed the first test, given that the student passed the first test. That is the only condition. So we must look for all the students who must have passed the first test, and we are going to find them in this circle, and they are 40 in number. And within those 40, we must now find the number of students who passed the second test. So our denominator changed. It is no longer 50. Our denominator is now 40, because we are looking for the student who passed the second test from those who must have passed the first test. So those who passed the first test, if they were told to stand up, 40 students would have stood up. Now, from the 40 who stood up, if you continue to pose the second question, that among you 40 who are standing, how many passed the second test, you will realize that these 30 will raise up their hands. So the probability of finding a student who passed the second test having passed the first test is actually these 30 who are already in the second test from the number who must have passed the first test, which is 40. This is 3 over 4, which can also be written as 0.75. Okay, that is the way we explain that example. Thank you. Follow, subscribe, share, and of course, let us meet in the next video. Thank you.